Hello everyone. In today's session, I'm just going to share you about my experience in preparing for exam AI 900, Microsoft Azure. So in this session, I will be discussing about the first module in the learning path. Actually, we have 5 modules for this exam. I'm going to discuss about the first module. Just I'm going to discuss the important key points that has to be remembered for this exam. Let's directly go into the presentation. Now, in this module, they are talking about introduction about artificial intelligence. So here, 5 key important terms are discussed about AI. One is the machine learning, then anomaly detection, computer vision, natural language processing, and conventional AI. Let's see what are the important points in these topics. Machine learning. What is a machine learning? Machine learning is nothing but programming your machine with the help of known data so that it can predict an unknown data in the future. So you give data as an input to the machine and the machine is trained with that data. So in the future, when an unknown data is given, the machine will be able to predict based on the knowledge it has gained during the training phase. This is machine learning. Now Azure has machine learning features. Now what are the different features Microsoft Azure has? One is in Microsoft Azure you have 2 ways to create this machine learning models. One is if you are not familiar with the programming language, or if you're not familiar with the steps how to create a machine learning model, then you are free to use automated machine learning component. So here you have to select the data set on which you are willing to do the training, and then you have to select what are the algorithms that you want to train on this data set, and then you have to select on what metric you want to compare these algorithms. And there are some runtime settings also has to be done for automated machine learning. So here we have to specify how much time the machine has to run, how much time the training has to run, and what is the exit criteria. All those things has to be specified. And finally, it will give you the best model for the particular data set. Okay, so this is automated machine learning capability. So later in my videos, I will also show you the labs exercise on this automated machine learning. The next one you have is the Azure machine learning. So here also Azure machine learning designer. So here also you need not write any code. You have to just drag and drop the modules to create a machine learning model. Okay, you have modules like data set, normalized data, clean missing data. Then you have the train module, score module, evaluate module. Just you have to drag and drop to the canvas and then create your machine learning model. And a very important thing is the other thing that is available in machine learning in Microsoft Azure is data and compute management. So here you can specify in what storage you want to store your data set. Okay, so you can create a cloud-based data storage with the help of this feature, and also you can also decide what type of virtual environment where you want to run your model. That also can be done with data and compute management. And finally you have the pipelines. So here you create experiments, you can train your model, you can manage your model, you can find out how many runs are there, what is the status of the run. Everything you can manage with the help of these pipelines. So these are the features that are available in Azure machine learning. Okay, now let's go and understand the next term. The next term is anomaly detection. So this module is just introduction. Okay, so we will be learning in detail and the experiment point of view in the next video. So here what is anomaly detection? Anomaly detection is nothing but to identify the unusual pattern in a data set. Maybe for example, let's take a credit card transaction. So when a transaction is unusual, it is not belonging to a usual way, then it identifies that as an anomaly. For example, when you are logging into a system and you forgot password for more than 5 or 6 times, it's unusual behavior of a user. So these are all the anomalies. And suppose for example you are testing a car, testing the car system, you're testing the telemetry, you're testing the brake system. So when there is an unusual unusual reading from a telemetry, then it is an anomaly. So these are all the examples of anomaly detection. So if you have a data set and you want to analyze your data set and find out the anomalies, then you can use anomaly services that is available in the Azure, Microsoft Azure. So it's called as anomaly detector service. Okay, it's like an API, okay, application program interface. So you can create this services and use it in your data set. The next one component that we will be discussing in this module is the computer vision. So it is a capability of computer to analyze the images, the video. Okay, so this is called as computer vision. Now in computer vision you have different tasks. One is the image classification. So I'll tell you an example for image classification. When you give a group of images and you want to identify or you tell I give a group of X-ray images of a chest and you want to identify whether it has a pneumonia or not. So it's an example for classification. So you are classifying the images as pneumonia or normal. Okay, so this is called as image classification. So this is one of the task of computer vision. The next one is object detection. So when you give a particular image, your algorithm will able to identify the objects in the image. And it will also return the bounding boxes for the object. For example, an image will have a building, it can have a car, it can have a flight, it can have humans. So it identifies the objects in the images. That is object detection. Then semantic segmentation. So semantic segmentation also comes under image classification. So here every pixel of the image is used for classification. So this is called as semantic segmentation. So it is at the level of pixel. Every pixel will be investigated and it is used for classification. Next is image analysis. So when you give an image, it will able to tell what that image mean. For example, a person is walking with a dog in an image. So it analyzes the image and it tells what is happening in the image. That is called as image analysis. And the next one, you have a special type of service called as face service. So where you can detect your face, you can analyze a face and also recognize a face. Okay, so all face related things can be done with the help of this services. And the last one you have is the optical character recognition. So if you have an invoice and you want to detect if you have an invoice and you want to detect what is there in the invoice, for example, how much amount is spent, what is the total amount of sales. Okay, so it's a text, it's a invoice is nothing but it's a text. So from the text you want to read some characters. So that is called as optical character recognition. Or I'll tell you another example. If you have an image and in an image there is some writings, you want to read that text, that is also coming under optical character recognition. Or reading a bill or an invoice, that is also coming under optical character recognition. So these are the services we have in computer vision. So image classification, classifying the images as pneumonia or normal, or if you give an image, it will classify that as a taxi or a bus or a train. Okay, so that's called as image classification. Object detection, in an image, it identifies each object and gives you the bounding box and also the tag. So here in this picture you can see it's a bus, it's a car, it's a cyclist. So you can see there's a tag associated as well as the bounding box for each object. This is object detection. And the next one is a semantic segmentation. So here I told you it is the classification in the pixel level. So it takes each pixel in the image and does the analysis. So that is called as semantic segmentation. And image analysis, by looking at the image, the system is able to tell what is happening in the image. So here you can see a person with a dog on the street. Okay, so this is image analysis. Okay, so it's advanced image, this advanced machine learning techniques is used to understand what is there in the image and capture the meaning of the image. The next one is a face detection, analysis and recognition. So it detects a face. It is also able to identify whose face it is, recognize. Okay, it's able to recognize a face and is also able to analyze a face. And analyze in the sense, it will find out what is the age of the person, what is the gender of the person, etc. The emotional states of the person can also has to be identified. with this. And finally, the optical character recognition in the image. If you have some text, so here you can see in this image you have the text, the Toronto Dominant Bank. So you can see the text is read from the image, or from any invoices. You're able to read the invoices. What is the total amount, okay, what is the date of the transaction, etc. So those are the examples for optical character recognition. Okay, so now in Azure, what are the services we have? So let me go to the Azure portal. Okay, this is the Azure portal. So here you can see you have an option called as machine learning. So the first thing what you have to do in the Azure portal is click machine learning. Okay, so here you have to create a separate workspace for machine learning. Okay, so you have to click create. Okay, so you will get all these details. You have to give you have to select a resource group name, you have to select a workspace name, and then you have to create. So let me create a new resource group. Okay, and create a new workspace, and then just click create. A new workspace will be created, and then you are free to use all the machine learning services. You can see the deployment is in progress. It means the workspace is getting created. When you create a workspace, by default you can see I'll just go to the resource and show you. Okay, so by default you will get a storage link, you will get a key vault, you will get an application insight, and this is the name of the resource group. Okay, so now the workspace is created. So once the workspace is created, now we have to click Launch Studio. Now this is a place where we can create our machine learning models. So as I told you previously, you have two options to create a machine learning model. One, you can use automated ML, where you need not write any code, or if you are not familiar with any machine learning model, also you can do this by just creating an automated ML, or you can go for the designer. So when you go to a designer, you will be creating a new pipeline. So here you can create your own machine learning model by just dragging and drop. So you can see different modules are here, just you have to drag and drop to create your machine learning model. So later we will see the lab session. Now let's coming back to the Azure services. So now let me show you in the Azure portal what are the services you can create regarding computer vision. So this is the Azure portal. So in the home you can see create resource. Okay, so here you will have various resources. You have cognitive service resource. Okay, cognitive service. Cognitive service is a collection of services, like you want to analyze an image, or you want natural language processing, you want anomaly detection, or you want ORCI, or if you want face, you want all in one application, then you can go for cognitive service. Okay, it's a combination of all the services. So you can use cognitive service, or suppose you want to do it separately, then you have computer vision. You have a service called as computer vision. Okay, so this is your computer vision service. Okay, so if you wanted to create separately, individual in your application, suppose you want only image, then you can go for computer vision. Or suppose you want to train your model with your own set of data, then you can go for custom vision. Okay, you have custom vision. So these are the different services that you can create. Okay, so just I will show you how to create one services. You also have a service called as face. Suppose you want to identify and analyze face, then you can create a new face API. So just I'll create a face API, new API. Okay, so again it will ask you the resource group. Let us select the resource group that we have already created. Okay, and then review and create. Okay, some data is missing. Okay, just a second. Okay, the name of the instance is missing, so I will write phase 001. Yeah, pricing is also missing here. Yeah, done. Here it is. So here just I'll give you the resource group name of this API, and I have to select the pricing tier. Just okay, there is a problem in the think some data is missing. Yeah, this checkbox is not selected. Yeah, now it's done. So its validation is passed. Now just create any services which is created. You can see you will get two important things to use that services. You need two important things to use that service. I just show you. So the service is created here. You can see the deployment is in progress. So you can see the deployment is completed. Click on go to resource. Okay, so this is your resource. So you can create any of these resources. For example, you can see you can create a custom vision resource, a computer vision resource, a face resource, a form recognizer, and you have much more. Whenever you create any resource, you can see you will get two things. One is the key and the endpoint. It's very, very important. So if you want to use these resources, you should know the key. This is a key. So you can just click on show key. You can get the key here. Click here, your key will be copied. You want the key and the endpoint to use these resources in your program. Okay, so these are the two important things. Okay, so these are the services that you can create in Azure. The next thing what we are going to talk about is about natural language processing. So natural language processing is used to analyze and interpret the text in the document, or an email message, or in any other sources. Okay, so or somebody when they are speaking, you want to translate the speech to a different language. That is also coming under natural language processing. Or the whether the computer has to respond to the human speech. Okay, for example, your Siri is replying back to you, right? So that is also an example of natural language processing. So when the computer wants to respond to the human, then that is coming under synthesizing speech response. Okay, so the language that we speak is automatically translated to different language, or the text that we write is also translated. Everything are coming under natural language processing. And also analyzing the sentiment of the text is also coming under natural language processing. So by looking at the text, you are able to predict what is the sentiment of the text, whether it is positive or negative. Okay, so anything that you process with the text, okay, you're processing the text, you're converting the text, you're converting speech to text or text to speech, or converting one language to another languages, or interpreting the language. Interpreting means trying to understand the content of the text. All are coming under natural language processing. Okay, now what are the services you have in the natural language processing in Azure, Microsoft Azure? You have text analytics. Okay, so text analytics, as I told you, when you give a text document, okay, this text analytics service, what it can do is it can extract the key phases of the text. Suppose there is a text document and you want to know what this document is talking about. Okay, so it extracts the key features from the text document. Okay, so extract the key features. So if you want to extract the key features, then you can use text analytics. For example, it can also detect entities such as who is talking to whom, or this text is about whether it is about a particular place or particular people. So all the important points are retrieved from a text. Okay, so all those things can be done with the help of creating a service called as text analytics. You can also evaluate sentiments, whether it is positive or negative. So when you are doing some analysis on the text in the document, then that is called as text analytics. Now what all it can do, it can extract the key phrases, it can detect the entities, and it can also evaluate the sentiments. These are the important terms related to text analytics. Translate text. What you can do with translate text, you can convert from one language to another language. More than 60 languages are supported here. Speech. So here also you can recognize and synthesize speeches. So it means when somebody is speaking, you can convert the speech to a text, or somebody is writing a text, you can convert the text into a speech. Okay, and also you can do synthesized speech. It means the system is responding to the human interaction. That is also can be done. Or if you want to create a new language model, you want to make the system understand a new language, then you have to create language understanding intelligence service. This service is required to create a new language model. Okay, so these are the services that are available in the Microsoft Azure. So let me show you the service. So here if you see, go to the home and click a resource. Here you can create, you can see text analytics. It is a service, so you can create a text analytics service, or you can create speech service. Okay, so you have a speech service. Yes, so these are the services you have. Okay, so text analytics, speech, translator text, and also language understanding intelligence services. So these are the services, and this is how you have to create in the portal. Once you create the service, you will get two things. One is a key and the other one is the endpoint. These two things are important to use that in your application. Okay, the last one is understanding conversational AI. Suppose you want to make a conversation with the system. For example, is a chatbot. Okay, you want to create a chatbot. So what is important to create a chatbot? One is the knowledge. You have to build the knowledge system. Now how will you build the knowledge system? Okay, for that you need a question and answer maker. So here you have a question and answer maker. This is also again a service in Microsoft Azure. So you can create the services. Now if you have a FAQ document with you already, you can just upload that FAQ document to this QA maker to generate the knowledge base. Or you have a web interface where you can create questions and answers and then create the knowledge base. Okay, both are possible. So if you have already FAQ, you can just upload the FAQs, or you have a web interface where you have to create question and the answer and build the knowledge base. Okay, so after you build the question and answer knowledge base with the help of this QA maker, the next thing you have to do is you have to use Azure bot services, okay, to create, publish and manage the bot. Okay, so when you're talking about bot, when you it is help, actually bots are created to reduce the workload of customer support executives, right? So you have seen bot in healthcare industries, you have seen bot in many business organizations, you have seen bot in education fields, right? So when the customer asks you a question, the machine tries to answer back to the customer. So it reduces the workload of customer server executives. Okay, so first you have to create the knowledge source with the help of QN maker, and then you have to create, publish and manage your bot using Azure bot services. Okay, so here also the bot should be able to understand the intent of the user. So it should be able to understand the intent of the user. So at the back side, it should also have what language understanding intelligence system, because it should be able to understand the language of the customers, then only it can reply. So this is also will be working in the background of bot. Okay, so these are the key features of AI concepts, which is discussed in the unit 1 of Azure AI 900 exam. The second part is they are talking about responsible AI. So when you want to design any AI model, it has to follow these 6 principles. One is fairness. So when you're talking about fairness, you have to remember, when you create an AI model, it should not have any biases. Okay, suppose for example, I'll give you an example. Suppose you are living in an environment where males are dominating and they have given more preferences Okay, so when you create an AI model, you should not create like that. Okay, your AI model should not be biased on a gender, or it should not be biased on a particular community of people, or on particular ethnicity, or it should not be like that. Okay, so there should not be any bias when you are creating an AI model. So that is the first one. Okay, it's fairness. The second one is, when you're creating an AI model, it's very important you test for all type of conditions, because when you are creating a self-driving cars, okay, so if a particular mistake happens, the entire life of the person will be lost. Okay, so it's very very important, when you create an AI model, you have to test in all possible unusual conditions, okay, and make sure it is working properly. So that is reliability and safety. Okay, and the third one is privacy and security. So AI are dealing with data. Okay, so when you test or when you train, you are dealing with the data, so you should make sure the data is properly secured. Okay, and all the privacy concerns and standards are met. And the fourth one is inclusiveness. So when you are creating an AI model, you should make sure it can be used by all type of peoples. Everyone should be engaged. The people who are having physical disability, or any other, every people, all type of peoples should be able to use that system. So you should include everyone. Okay, that is inclusiveness. And the next one is transparency. When a particular people is using a model, okay, the person should know what is the drawback of the model, what will be the when the model will work perfectly, when the model will not work perfectly. Everything should be made fully available, fully aware to the users. That is called as transparency. And the final thing is the accountability. So here, the very important here, the AI framework should be within the governance and organizational principles. It should follow the principles. Similarly, when the AI doesn't give you the correct prediction, the user should be able to override the AI prediction. That is called as accountability. Okay, so these are the 6 important features that has to be followed by every AI, so that it becomes responsible AI. So with this, the first chapter will be over. So only the basic concepts of all these things are discussed in the first module. So let's go to the other modules in the next upcoming videos. Thank you.